at this foundational stage of your real estate journey, we're going to need some tools and we're going to need some software to help us to become more effective and efficient with the income servicing side of the business. I want to be clear, particularly at this stage from 0 to 25-ish deals, we really don't want to spend too much time, energy, effort, and resources and do this massive deep dive on tools and software, right? We do need it. My experience is this stage of your real estate career, the primary focus of the majority of your time, I'd say about 80% of your time, should be on stacking time on top of the specialized knowledge that's required in order to do this business in high volume, namely what to say and how to say it, how to set appointments, how to pre-qualify, present, handle objections, close, get price adjustments, and present offers, right? So that's where the majority of your time should be spent. At the same time, we need these tools and these instruments, right? This software to help us to be effective and efficient. So what we're going to go over in this video, which is included in the Foundation series, is a basic toolkit that you'll need, right? And in any business, when you really think about it, like most businesses require lots of different tools. And this is no different, right? There are some tools that we need and some that we don't. So we're just going to focus on the ones that really, in my opinion, will allow you to spend 80% of your time on income producing activities while simultaneously beginning to build a system, right, with these different tools and software that allow you to be very productive and efficient and can allow us to get to that next stage where we start to ramp up from 25 to 50 deals. And that'll be the next season in this series, right? So the first tool that you're going to need is a CRM. Now, most agents think about CRMs as like a repository just for leads because we're salespeople, right? So we're just worried about the next deal. When in fact, a really good CRM is not just kind of a digital filing cabinet that has some automations for lead gen. It also can serve as a platform that you can build your business on top of, meaning a lot of your checklists or standard operating procedures, you can input them into the CRM. And then when we get to the next stage, because right now you might be doing this stuff yourself, right? And it'll make sure that nothing slips through the cracks and you don't have to deal with paper a lot. And when we get to the next stage of scaling up, when you start to have staff, right, whether it be listing coordinators, transaction coordinators, they can just go down the checklists that are within the CRMs once the stages of that lead changes, right? Let's say from like a potential listing to an active listing, and that standard operating procedure pops up, which is a checklist essentially, and your listing coordinator can go down and bang out all the tasks, right? So the CRM that I believe is the best is the one that you'll actually use, right? They all have different kind of bells and whistles, and none of them are perfect in my professional experience. And the one that we have happened to find the most user-friendly and have the best user interface is Follow Up Boss. It's the one that I personally use and currently recommend. And the reason being is what I just described, right? I think it's the most user-friendly. I think it really does a fantastic job of being a platform that you can build a business on top of all the cool kind of API integrations that it has with other third-party vendors and softwares that you can use. So for that reason, that's why we recommend them. So you might find yourself at a brokerage firm where they offer you, a particular CRM and you just kind of use it. Most people don't use it. I would suggest that you really need to pay attention to it and pick one that gives you the ability to build long-term. Again, my recommendation for that is Follow Up Boss. The second thing that you're going to need is a dialing system. Okay. And there's various different dialing systems out there, right? You've maybe heard of Mojo, you've heard of Vulcan, right? There's Batch, I think is a dialing system. And the thing to be clear on is that each one of these dialing systems, they can kind of serve like a particular purpose. It's kind of like the difference between a Phillips and a flathead, in terms of like a tool, like a screwdriver. And what I would suggest is platforms like Mojo or Vulcan, they are good for calling a particular lead source, right? And that might be your expireds, your canceleds, your for sale by owners, right? Kind of sniping down is the way I think about it. There's another dialing system out there that a good buddy of mine, who's become a friend over time, he's a client that I've worked with for an extended period of time in a consultative capacity, coaching him. And he created something called the Enzo Dialer. That's a 14-line software dialer. And that's wonderful for making high level volume contacts like just listed, just solds, or things of that nature. So each one of these tools serves a different purpose. People that use the Enzo dialer, they get fantastic, wonderful results. And, some people swear by different ones, but you will need a dialing system. And keep in mind that each one has a particular purpose. And if you're going to be a prospector, you have to have this tool. Now, each one of these dialing systems will also perhaps charge you for data or access to better types of data, right? In terms of like phone numbers and things of that nature. So you just have to play around with that and figure out which one. If you guys want to see an actual breakdown of each platform, let me know in the comments, and I'll provide that for you. My intention here is just give you a broad overview. The other thing that I would propose in terms of a tool that you're going to need is some video capturing software. And the one that I've used for a long time and recommend is something called BombBomb. And the reason why I like BombBomb is it integrates into our CRM, into Follow Up Boss. And it allows us to be able to send video messages that are embedded in the email at the click of a button, right? And everybody knows now videos like, a thing. Having static one-dimensional pictures really doesn't make a lot of sense and doesn't get a lot of attention. So one of the main ways that we've utilized it in terms of generating revenue is, let's say you talk to a prospective client, you have a really good conversation, or perhaps even you set an appointment. So I can go into the CRM, click a button, camera comes on, and say, hey, this is Aaron. Just want to put a face to the name, say thank you kindly for taking the time to speak with me with regards to your property on 1265 Banana Street. Having heard the situation and what you're looking to accomplish and why, I feel supremely confident. Provided the opportunity, we can help you get top dollar and do it quickly and efficiently. So as promised, I'm going to shoot you an email to this email address, and that email, amongst other things, will be an updated market analysis that, I'll bring with me so we can review that together as a team to figure out how we need to position your property price-wise to make sure we maximize value. And then I'll also have with me the appropriate paperwork when I see you. So provided that it all makes sense and you feel comfortable and confident, we can take the next steps. So in the meantime, if you have any questions or concerns for me, my personal cell phone is blankety blank. Otherwise, thanks for taking the time to watch this. Thanks for taking time to speak with me. And I look forward to seeing you tomorrow at 6. And then you could just hit send and it goes right to them. And nobody really does that. So it gives a huge competitive advantage. The other thing I really like about BombBomb software is you can track if they've opened it, if they've watched it, which is a really cool feature. And their thumbnails are animated. If you go like this, right, and you're waving at the initial opening of the video, what it'll do is it'll animate that. So when they open it up in their email, it'll show you going like this, which dramatically increases the probability that you'll open up that email. So I think BombBomb is a must in that toolkit, or some sort of video sending software that gives you the capacity to, again, track if they've watched it, if they've opened it. Love those animated thumbnails, which increases the probability people will open it up. The next tool that you're going to need in your tool belt is SOPs, right? Standard operating procedures, which is a fancy word for checklists. And you're going to need them for listing coordination and transaction coordination, because those are really the core two pillars of income servicing activities. Right? So what I would describe, or what I would share with you, is maybe on the weekend or whatever, is just sit down in a room, close your eyes, and write out, everything that happens in a transaction once let's say you take a listing, everything that needs to be done. Same thing, like everything that needs to be done on the pending side once a property goes under contract. If you have interest, you can reach out to us. We can send you our SOPs, and you could just rip off and duplicate. Some people are particular and they want to create them on their own, but that's what I would propose or suggest, and you're going to need it, right? Once you have those two SOPs in place, the reason why we're doing that is we're preparing that, so that way at the next stage, which is from 25, let's say, to like 50 deals, is we can start to hire listing coordinators, transaction coordinators, and then they have a system that they can follow. Yeah. So that's what we're doing here by creating these checklists. I would also propose or suggest, while you're creating these checklists, to also shoot videos. Loom is a really good piece of software that allows you to do that, kind of educational videos, with the goal and objective of transferring out of your head to a kind of video accompanied with written checklists that somebody can watch, so that way you can delegate that activity to somebody. And that's where we're going, because what we see is, what I've seen, having been in the industry for almost 2 decades, is that the vast majority of agents stay plateaued at like 10, 15, 20 deals and never go to that next level because they don't do that step. And they have a control issue, right? They want to hold on to everything themselves. And because they don't create SOPs, and because they don't have videos kind of showing people how to do stuff. Everything is in their head. They become the bottleneck. And then that radically inhibits their ability to be productive. So that's another tool. Another really cool tool that we utilize and I think is really good foundationally is a third-party software. It's called AM Cards. And AM Cards integrates into CRMs, right? It integrates into Follow Up Boss, the one that we use. I'm imagining it integrates into others. It has APIs, right? And it allows you to write like handwritten notes at the click of a button and also send gift cards or let's say brownies when the property closes with a nice card. So some of the cool applications that you can utilize, part of your SOP, your standard operating procedure or checklist, let's say for a listing, when a property goes active on the market, is you or let's say an assistant eventually, but you initially can go into your CRM, click a button, write a handwritten note. Hey, thanks again for the opportunity to earn your business. I always like to start off our relationship with a smile. So go have a coffee on us. And it'll have like AM Cards will write the card, put a $10 gift card in the card and mail it to them. Just at the click of a button, which is very efficient, right? Another way that we would utilize it in our process is, let's say when a property closes. Prior to closing, we would go in, create the AM card. Once we have the clear to close, of course, we would go in, create the AM card and send them brownies with a thank you note. Hey, thanks again for the opportunity to earn your business. Really appreciate your trust and look forward to the opportunity to working with you and your friends and family in the future, right? And we'd send that out to them. You just click a button and it goes. So I think that that's a really cool tool that you can integrate. It's not that expensive. And if you notice, we're starting to build, right, this machine, the sales machine, and these software and these tools really function for backend and delivery. The other tool that you're going to need in presenting, in my opinion, is an iPad or some sort of digital tablet that you can present. iPads are not really that expensive. And it baffles me. It's wild to me that there are agents right now in 2025 that are presenting with pieces of paper. I mean, that's crazy, right? So I think it's imperative for agents to be presenting with tools that are in alignment with the world that we live in today. When you really think about it, the way that you consume data, the way I consume data, your children, if you have children, or anybody else around you now is increasingly on screens. So to be presenting with paper is really to be utilizing tools for a world that doesn't really exist anymore. So I would propose that an iPad would be required. Doesn't have to be the iPad Pro. So you don't go out and, spend a bunch of money initially. You could just get an entry level one. One's big enough screen wise, not the small one, but like kind of the next level. So that way, when you're presenting, you can kind of, scroll through, they can zoom in, take a look at the pictures and stuff. It will allow you to be able to paint a better picture. And then obviously the stand that goes along with the, let's say, iPad or tablet. So you can kind of rest it up and scroll through as you're presenting. Another thing that I would propose or suggest that is required in terms of a tool is some sort of calendar. It's unbelievable that the vast majority of agents don't have a calendar and it's not integrated into their CRM. If you think about that, like that's so inefficient and nobody can tell where you are or what you're doing or anything like that. So keep in mind that what we're doing here at this foundational stage is we're acquiring the specialized knowledge that we're going to need in order to do this in volume, and then simultaneously starting to piece together the tools and the software that will allow us to actually scale it up, right? And if you don't have a calendar that everybody has access to and you're personally working from a calendar, so for instance, like let's say for us, Follow Up Boss, when I would schedule an appointment in Follow Up Boss, it's linked to my Google Calendar, which is on my phone. So then I can see everything that's going on. And also as time progresses, as you scale this out, your assistant can see what's going on and they can start to, book appointments for you or let people know that you're in an appointment at the moment or whatever the case may be. So I think that that's critical. Google's free and it integrates into all these systems or processes. Now, I will let you know that I fought this for a long time because, I actually came up in the real estate game. 2006 and 2007 is when I started. So, this stuff was around, but it wasn't like fully adopted, right? I started off with Outlook. And then my team kept bothering me to kind of make that pivot and change over to Google and Google's calendar. And utilize, Follow Up Boss as a CRM and all that stuff. And I resisted it to my own detriment. You know what I'm saying? Because it ended up being much more effective and efficient long term. So having some sort of calendar that integrates on your phone and into your CRM is going to be a really important tool. And then the last two tools are really kind of pedestrian, like physical world tools. One is like a nice kind of legal notepad and a portfolio, those folders that they're in, so you can like take notes. So even though we're presenting, digitally, they've done lots of studies that if somebody sees you writing down, when they're speaking, it makes them feel more comfortable and they trust that you're actually listening and, that you're present with them, sort of thing. So I think that makes a lot of sense in terms of presenting. So having a portfolio with a legal notepad and then a nice pen to sign contracts, and maybe have more than one of them, right? And have that with you at all times, because our job is to be in the presence of prospects. And if somebody's ready to sign a contract, what a shame if I don't have one readily available. So this is the, foundational, let's say, toolkit, right? Of tools and software that you need that will help you to be able to be as productive as possible at this foundational stage, and will help you begin to lay the foundation in terms of like systems, processes, and procedures, because you can only grow to the proportion that your systems will allow you to, for the next stage, which is from 25 to 50 transactions, which has to do with, delegation, hiring staff, and allowing people to work the system that you've created. So the wonderful news is that we live in a time where these tools are available. If you sold real estate 30, plus years ago, the most technological advanced thing we had was fax machines. And now, we have digital signatures and digital calendars and CRMs, which used to be like books that you would carry with you, right? So we live in a magnificent time. I know it can seem like really overwhelming. I promise you, if you take one or two or three of these tools and you just implement them over like, the course of a 90-day, 100-day, 180-day time frame, over the course of a year or two, you would have implemented all of these systems and tools into your business, and simultaneously, provided that you're still doing the lead measures, which are, prospect, lead follow-up, go on appointments, negotiate deals. It'll lead to the lag measures, which are contract sign, and you'll begin to and continue to grow and expand, your real estate business. So again, that's the intention of this series, is really to equip you with everything that you need, at this particular stage. If you found this to be helpful, go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, that little bell. So every time we have a new episode, you can be informed, and share it with somebody that you think it would be helpful or useful for them. That's the intention, is to equip you guys with everything that you need so this business can serve you the way it's served me and my family. So I appreciate you and look forward to seeing you in the next video. If you went ahead and scheduled an appointment, you pre-qualified the appointment, had a conversation about the pricing portion, listing presentation, helped them to self-discover where they need to be at, and given them updates over time. Once you secure the listing, you handle objections, you close, you secure the listing. Well, invariably, you're going to end up with an offer on the table.